because the building of your character, the development of your way of thinking that has come from these quite challenging and hurtful situations is an intangible process that money can't give you. Whether you're resting at home, driving, or on a tropical island somewhere living your very best life, welcome to the Marie Bliss podcast. How was your day and how was your week? Come on in and take a seat. Welcome to today's episode. I hope you guys are doing well and keeping safe. Happy New Month. I hope you're enjoying the month of July so far and all that it is bringing for you and your loved ones. Because we're in July, it means that we have gone halfway through this year. We have completed the first 6 months of this year. And some people at this point in time like to have an internal mid-year checkpoint to see where they've come from, what they've done in the first 6 months, and compare it to what they said they were going to do at the start of the year, and then look at the next 6 months and strategize and plan what they will do to ensure that they stay on target. So kind of like self-reflection, self-review, and it's good to do that so that you can have an honest look into your life, an honest look into your actions, and see where you can improve or see where you're doing well and continue in that stead. Now, talking about this mid-year checkpoint, sometimes we can focus so much on, what have you been doing for the past 6 months? You've not been doing anything. You need to grind. You need to this. You need to that. And there is a place for that conversation. There is a place for that type of motivation. However, today, I want to give you a different perspective. If you are feeling that this year hasn't been so good, that this year hasn't gone the way you expected it to. When you began in January, you had goals, you had dreams, you had aspirations. But now that we're in July, the first 6 months truly were tough. You may have faced heartbreak, betrayal, loss, grief. You might have experienced friendships breaking up, business partnerships ending, and the list is endless. And sometimes the way that you start something gives you, foreshadows what may be the end. And I use that in quotations because, as we know, just because something begins badly doesn't mean it has to end badly. There is room for change, there is room for transformation, and there is still hope. Whilst there is breath in your lungs, there is still definitely hope that things will indeed get better. Going back to what I was saying, if this year has been tough, when this question is asked about what have you been doing for the last 6 months, it can make you feel uneasy. Some people might feel shy, others might feel embarrassed because they don't have any results to show. I want to give you a different perspective and for you to see that just because your first 6 months may not have produced tangible results in terms of maybe monetary gains or business ventures or what we tend to see as the typical progress in our generation, but that progress can also look like internal character building, healing, and the likes. So let's delve deeper into this. Starting with this first example. So there is a lady. She had dreams and ambitions at the start of this year. And she felt that her life was starting to fall into place. But around maybe February or March, she found out that the people that she thought she could trust actually weren't trustworthy at all. That the friendships that she thought were going to take her throughout her life were slowly starting to break down. Or another lady who just started a new business venture, and her business was growing and flourishing, and she decided to take on a business partner. But around February, she finds out that the business partner was secretly taking her trade secrets and trying to build their own separate rival company to then, diminish her efforts and diminish her work. So the themes that I'm trying to explore in these examples is feelings of betrayal, hurt, pain, loss from those that you thought you could trust. Now, when you think about going through something like that at the start of the year, it can really make you feel discouraged, because life is more than just, oh, I want to make six figures and I want to do this and I want to do that. The relationships and the people that are in our lives equally make life so fulfilling and so beautiful. So when there is a breakdown amongst the people that you thought were your people and you thought they could be your lifelong friends or business partners, it can really affect you. It can really affect the motivation that you have for the rest of the year, because you'll just be wondering, what went wrong? Where did this come from? How long have they been thinking these things about me, planning these things against me? So if you face those betrayals, those hurts, those pains, rather reverse it and see it that what you have done this year is to discern and identify people that in future may have been a thorn in your flesh, and focusing on the positive action of what you have done in relation to that situation will rather give you the motivation and the courage that you need to continue the rest of the year. Because if you see it as, okay, I have done something with my time, I have chosen peace, I have chosen to surround myself with people who genuinely have my best interest at heart and not those who are wolves in sheep's clothing. I have chosen to prioritize the purpose of my business by not continuing in partnership with that individual who would have averted the very purpose why I started this business in the first place. So you have done something that might not be tangible, but the effects of it will continue, not even just this year, but just for the rest of your life. Because the building of your character, the development of your way of thinking that has come from these quite challenging and hurtful situations is an intangible process that money can't give you. Whether you can relate to these fictional examples or not, I want you to keep what I'm about to say in your heart and in your mind anytime you find yourself exerting pressure on yourself to do something, to be active despite the pain and hurt you are trying to heal from. I want you to know that you need to give yourself grace. I know it can be hard, especially when we live in such a fast-paced world where everybody seems to be grinding, everybody seems to be flourishing, social media is showing everybody's high points, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't have anything to show for it because I've been going through it. Give yourself grace. It's okay if all you've done for the first 6 months is heal. That is one of the most powerful things you can ever do. We should know more than ever the importance of mental well-being, the importance of being whole and healed as individuals, because when you're not whole and healed as an individual, you bleed out on others. It shows in the way you communicate. It shows in the way you get triggered by what people think is the simplest thing. It shows in the way you are unable to control your anger or control your tongue or control your emotions, because on the inside, you have not given yourself time to heal from these things, or you've not allowed yourself to walk in the discernment that this situation was trying to bring out of you. So take your time. Don't allow yourself to be pressured by anyone, even yourself, to jump back on the horse without attending to the wounds that have happened from the fall. It would be very strange to walk across a beach, and as you look into the ocean, people are in the ocean taking pictures, enjoying themselves. But then you see somebody who is visibly struggling in the water, but they're just so focused on capturing the selfie. You would say to yourself, their priorities are misplaced. Focus on not drowning, getting yourself in a better position before you even try to capture the highlights. And that's what I want you to focus on as well. We have seen on countless occasions people who didn't prioritize healing, who didn't prioritize discerning the people around them. And when they were at the very pinnacle, then that's when everything started to come crashing down. We started to see the little chips in their character, started to see the little chips that showed that they needed to heal from something from their past, or they needed to be more wiser about the people they chose to do business with or to come into connection with. They allowed themselves to enter into so many relationships, networks, things that with hindsight were literally their downfall. If all 2025 brings for you is the opportunity to heal from things that you had covered up, the opportunity to grow in your character, the opportunity to rethink and re-strategize your relationships, your networks, how you relate with people, then that's probably what 2025 was meant to do for you. It reminds me of, we make our plans, but the Lord orders our steps. Now, I'm not saying that He's the one bringing the difficulties and the challenges in your way, but in the sense that sometimes at the start of the year, we think this is how the year is meant to go. And so when we're not seeing the year the way we thought it should go, we start to fight it so hard. We start to force ourselves into spaces that maybe we weren't meant to be in 2025, but it was rather for 2026, after we have allowed 2025 to bring the healing it was meant to bring in our lives. And I want you to look at it that way so that you don't stay discouraged and allow this grey cloud to just hang over you for the rest of this year. You have to give yourself some grace and realize that, hey, I've been through some difficult stuff at the start of this year. And I'm not going to focus on what that situation tried to take from me, but I'm going to focus on what I have learned from that situation and how it has developed my character, developed my way of thinking, my discernment, my priorities, my values, my focus. Block out all the noise and stay focused on what it is that the next 6 months bring for you. If that is continuing your journey of healing, of recovery, then so be it. Or if it's now time to get back on the horse and to give it all you've got, then so be it. Whatever it is, take time. Thank you guys for joining me on my podcast. Have an amazing day and amazing week, and see you next time. I've been Marie Bliss, and it was a pleasure speaking with you today. God bless you. Bye.